This is Cutie Honey Universe. It follows Honey as she attends an all-female boarding school called St. Chapel Academy. But one day she gets a distress call from her father, just before he is killed by the criminal organization Panther Claw, who is searching for his invention that can create anything out of thin air, the airborne element fixing device. Honey learns that she isn't just a normal teenage girl, but she's an android, equipped with the device that Panther Claw is after, which gives her the ability to transform into a handful of different personas to battle evil, as she joins up with PCIS to try and stop Panther Claw from ever obtaining its power. Cutie Honey Universe is a 12-episode series released in 2018 to celebrate the author's 50th anniversary as a manga artist. Cutie Honey dates back as far as 1973, with a handful of different manga and anime series, which I have to admit, I've never seen any of them prior to Cutie Honey Universe. But in my defense, I have seen the 2004 live-action movie. So, that's something. Sister Jill is the leader of the Panther Claws. She's completely sadistic, seeking young women to seduce and corrupt into an army of superpowered beings. She's obsessed with claiming Cutie Honey, not only for the airborne element fixing device, but she's also after the destruction of her innocence. She wants to enslave her. She poses as the key investigator for the Panther Claw Investigative Service, becoming one of Cutie Honey's closest allies. She pretends to be her friend, while sending hordes of soldiers to wreak havoc, often targeting the people closest to Cutie Honey, in an attempt to mentally wear her down. I was expecting this to be a Monster of the Week kind of show, but it actually moves the plot forward with some pretty dark surprises. There's a good amount of inconsequential fighting and filler, but it's all actually leading somewhere, and it's consistently energetic and vibrant, while also getting a bit disturbing and grim at other times. This show attempts a tightrope between serious and immature, and it's usually just swinging all over the place. Honey is extremely kind, charismatic, and ridiculously beautiful, and everyone is enamored by her. But she is totally innocent. That doesn't stop the show from being relentlessly horny. They never miss an opportunity to show her from an interesting angle. Hell, even when she's fighting, her clothes are getting torn off bit by bit, even exposing a bit of nudity. It is what it is. But there are two obnoxious side characters that constantly cross the line from uncomfortable perversion to blatant sexual assault. These guys are purely intended for comic relief, but they're easily the worst part of the show for me. Most of the other characters are likable and humorous in their own ways, and fortunately they have much more screen time. Cutie's best friend Nat is really sweet and plays a major role in the story, along with all the members of PCIS. I like every single one of them. Their assistant is constantly the butt of a joke, and there are a few scenes that are surprisingly funny. All of Honey's classmates are pretty much background characters, but there is a boss of a gang girl that has a huge crush on Honey, and she slowly grows on you. Apart from Sister Jill, you also become pretty familiar with Tarantula Panther and Dragon Panther, who slowly start to question their devotion to their leader, as Sister Jill becomes increasingly indifferent towards them as her obsession with Honey grows. One of the more fun aspects of the show are the different ways Cutie can morph when she has enough energy. She can create any costume or object out of nowhere, and they play around with these abilities with a lot of variety and style. The action sequences are usually pretty fun, or at the very least, very flashy and colorful. The fighting will often take place in a grounded location, but sometimes they'll mix it up with a battle in a sort of warp tunnel in the sky. Despite there being plenty of action, it doesn't get too exciting or engaging because of how predictable it is. But it is passively entertaining, even if you aren't getting pumped up. One of the biggest strengths of the show is its awesome visual style, bursting with color and bold outlines. The artwork almost never looks bad. I'm sure that fans of the older anime series will have much stronger opinions on the style, and that's totally valid. But as a newcomer to the series, I think it looks fantastic. The biggest thing that Cutie Honey Universe struggles with is its tonal consistency. It's usually lighthearted and goofy, with some fun action, over-the-top villains, and a bit of perversion. But the show is often pretty serious and bleak, as Honey tries to pretend everything is okay. Her best friend loves her and tries to reach out, but Honey has cut herself off emotionally. In the middle of the series, her academy is attacked by Panther Claw, and everyone there dies horrifically. Cutie unable to save anyone except for her best friend. Honey has such heavy guilt over it, and she actually suffers from PTSD. And the start of the next episode? She's bent over in the bathtub, totally naked. It's completely tone deaf. A scene will be legitimately devastating, and then jump to ridiculousness so fast it'll give you whiplash. It's as if they wrote a Saturday morning cartoon with plenty of fan service and monsters, but they also wanted a serious dramatic arc, and it just didn't quite stick the landing. The breaking point for Honey is when Sister Jill decides to go after someone closest to her, and Nat winds up dead. The show does succeed in making this impactful, and her grief is executed in a very sensitive way. It causes Honey to lose control and start heading down a path of vengeance. But Honey has already suffered 2 other major tragedies in the series, and she remains the same hero we already know and love. Her character arc is just a bit weak. The death of Nat is more of a redemption arc for Tarantula, turning her further away from Sister Jill. It seems Sister Jill's strategy is to throw mayhem and destruction at Cutie Honey every chance she gets, or at least once an episode, to continuously wear her down until the final confrontation. It's a bit tactless and repetitive. And since Sister Jill isn't particularly clever, neither is the show. It comes to an end with an action-packed 2-parter taking place in Sister Jill's domain. Cutie Honey has to give it everything she's got, and she gets beaten down pretty bad. It basically turns into Endgame, with everyone showing up, transforming into Cutie Honey, complete with powers and a musical number, with trippy visuals and plenty of Cutie Honey fan service. It was pretty ambitious and exciting, and also nonsensical and humorous. They wanted a fun, big, epic finale, and they mostly nailed it. But like with everything else in the show, they're juggling too much. It yanks the tone around, making it feel a little half-hearted. In the end, I would definitely recommend this show, but not as anything essential or groundbreaking. It's not great, but it's far from terrible. It's perfectly fine, and I'm looking forward to checking out more Cutie Honey sometime in the future.